Check. All right. Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, and this is the first at-home episode of Road to the Big Day. So, thank you very much for joining us on this pilot episode of this special broadcast. So, now for this Facebook Live, this is our first Facebook Live actually. For those who may not know me, my name is Jonathan. I'm an events host and the man behind Road to the Big Day. It's a vlog on YouTube. So my goal there is basically I do this road trips all around the country as I host events and share you the bits and pieces of having the opportunity to host these very special moments with couples, which is their wedding. And sometimes it's other events such as debuts and corporate events. But of course, with the enhanced community lockdown in effect, many of us got stuck at home and of course to help out our frontliners in their battle against this pandemic. And with that being said, being locked at home, unfortunately, that also meant postponing a lot of the events and pushing all our plans. And when it comes to the current situation, also our finances are kind of in jeopardy for some. And as far as my questions with couples that I've talked to in the past, most of them, if not all of them, had no choice but to tap into their wedding funds as well to get by over the next for the next few months or so. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the question is, how do we all bounce back? Paano ba tayo makakaipon ulit? Paano ba natin matutuloy yung dream wedding nyo and all? So now, ladies and gentlemen, we have someone very special to join us on this first episode. Let me just introduce here for you. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he is a retirement coach from the 2009 OFW Protector Qualifier with 8 OFW Protected, 2019 National Achiever at CEO Circle Level, 2019 5-Star Life Club Pro Member, 2019 Protection Drive Elite Qualifier, 2019 ASAP Rider Qualifier, Protection Benefit Driven, 2019 Rookie of the Year, and 2019 ACA Premier Qualifier. And of course, he's a family man with a 5-year-old little girl named Callie, and his wife is a major stroke survivor, and a father is a retired OFW who spent 31 years overseas. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please give a big round of applause as we welcome here, of course, our good friend, former wedding photographer, now a retirement coach, Sir Mike Togle. Palakpakan naman natin. Yes. Hi, sir.
Good evening.
Yan.
Thank you very much for that
Good evening.
nice introduction.
Salamat.
How are
Yan.
you? How are you? How's everyone? I hope everyone's
I,
doing fine.
I am good. Yan. Yan. So for all our viewers for today, so we have our just drop down the comment section all the questions that you have for Sir Mike as we go through this very special topic on how to bounce back on your wedding budget and of course make your finances crisis proof as well. All right, so sir, I
All
let
right.
you take it away na ba?
Again, thank
Sige,
you.
sige.
Thank you for that introduction, Jonathan. So I'd like to give you guys this. Just correction. I wasn't the rookie of the year. I was a rookie high flyer in 2019. But moving forward, what we I'd like to help you guys today is give this notion to you. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. And it was Benjamin Franklin who said this. So I am here actually. I am here to inform you, give you options, and also help you. Sir Jonathan, can we move to the next two slides?
Ah, sir?
Before we move on to actually the meat of the topic, we were talking about the wedding industry, right? So we the
Mm.
best way to is to have a foundation. Which quarantine guidelines will affect the wedding industry moving forward? We're currently in
Mm.
ECQ here in Luzon and most parts of Luzon, and we're going to GCQ hopefully by May 16 when the curve flattens. And the IATF has laid out certain guidelines, right? And
Mm-mm.
if you one of the things is under the GCQ is that movement of all persons will be limited to just accessing essential goods and services. So movement for
Mm-mm.
leisure will be prohibited. That's a
Oh.
that's the first thing. And then the PNP will actually retain its authority to conduct inspection procedures at checkpoints. So for destination weddings, this will be will be a very big challenge. If you're
Mm-mm.
going to certain destinations away from Luzon, you'll have to pass through checkpoints, which tends to get very long. If you've tried to go through the cities, makikita mo that the queue of cars is very long. I tried already once when I wanted to go to San Pedro to help a friend. I ran into this very long line. I had to turn back. Buti na lang I had the
Yeah. Uh,
opportunity to turn back.
ang joke nga ngayon eh, every quarantine line is the North Korea and your South Korea. For the Chloe fans there, oh. Ganun yung feeling eh. Sobrang hirap tumawid.
Yeah, yeah. Especially for those who are still working, mayroong mga bank personnel who are actually traveling from. I have friends who are traveling from Laguna going to Makati, and their usual complaints is that the line is long. They don't understand why there are so many cars at SLEX.
Mm.
Jonathan, can we click on the slide so that people can see
Okay.
what I'm referring to? We're on the third bullet. We're in the third bullet. So
Yeah.
mass gatherings will still be prohibited during GCQ. And since a lot of our weddings, on the average, the minimum is 100 packs, right? There are some intimate
Mm.
weddings that go for even 50, 30, 50. But I remember that the definition of mass gatherings is more than 20. So we might be seeing a lot of intimate weddings, even more intimate weddings moving forward. And then no hotels or similar establishments should be allowed to operate. Paano na yung reception? So, paano na yung mga, paano na
Kaya
yung
nga
mga,
eh.
yeah, the reception venues. We have a lot of friends, given that we were both in the wedding industry before. And then ito, the last
Mm-mm.
line, persons below 21 and 60 years of age are not allowed to go out except when obtaining essential goods and services. Paano na yung parents ng bride and groom? Paano na yung mga kapatid nilang bata who are below 21? How will they be able to go to the wedding venue?
Walang bearers. Walang
Wala,
bearers, walang parents pag
walang,
nagkataon.
walang bearers, walang flower girls, yung mother of the groom, mother of the, it will be a challenge. Okay.
Right, right.
Yeah. So, pero moving forward, there's still some hope. We still have some possibilities because may fine line dun sa GCQ guideline that intimate weddings may be allowed, yung really intimate ones, because they may allow religious activities just as long as social
Mm-hmm.
distancing will be observed. And then, as long as wearing of face masks, face shields, or other facial equipment is mandatory. Yeah. As long as people follow that, baka pwede. Baka. I think the IITF will speak about this more kasi the wedding industry is bringing these to light through some certain groups. And so, most certainly, number of people who can attend will be diminished. So, dun tapasok dun sa
Mm-hmm.
intimate weddings talaga. So, what do you think, Jonathan? Do you think we will be seeing mga 20, 10, 50, 20, 10 to 20 participants lang sa weddings moving forward?
Yeah, before when I was thinking about this, I was already thinking siguro mga 30 guests kasi the 20 is suppliers na eh. Kami, like reception-wise, 20 na kami. Photo and video team, co-or, the lights and sounds, and the caterers. Plus ako. O, di ba parang 20 na yung sa reception. Kung sa ceremony, you have your musician. So that's like 5 or 4. Plus the photo team again. And then the coordinators. And then syempre, bilang din dun sila. Father, sacristans, mother butlers. Although pwede silang maglayo-layo, the number is really a question. That's why I was trying to get in touch with our friends from the DTI. Pero I was asking, can you give us like a number? Pero wala silang maibigay talaga na
Wala
parang,
pa.
eto yung, this is mass. Parang is 20 mass or is 30 mass or is 10 mass gathering. Yun yung medyo parang, that's the dark part eh. Kaya nga I was trying to
You haven't
console
figured it
some
out.
hindi pa talaga.
Di
Wala
pa.
pang final numbers eh. Kaya I was just trying to console some friends from the bride and breakfast group. Yung mga brides doon who were asking around the other couples what their plans. And sabi ko nga, your best option right now is the lesser the number, the higher your chances of not being disappointed. Especially if you think about it, kasi the less people you have, the less people you worry about that may get infected or can infect you. Parang ganon.
It's all
Whether or
about
not you,
reducing the chance of
definitely,
infection, di ba? It's about that, di ba?
oo. Kasi there's also this study that this article I read from Nat Geo about that, ano nga, parang the correlation between the number of people in a group versus the chances of them getting infected. So medyo walang number na na-reach. However, the key there is always social distancing. But yun nga, it's like 2 meters or 1 meter. Pero parang ang counterpoint ng iba, pag nag-grocery naman ako, halos dumikit din yung kasama ko
Dikit-dikit.
sa akin.
Yeah, that's true.
Di
That's
ba,
true.
parang, how do you find a balance? But still, syempre, from a personal point of view, or like from the point of view of the government rather, as much as possible, you limit these activities. Kaya parang essentials lang. So do we consider these intimate events as essential? Pero hopefully during the GCQ, with the actions or the plans the entire wedding industry is planning to put up with the government na parang possession paper, so to speak, hopefully, mapagbigyan kami kasi ang dami naming naapektuhan eh. Dami,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
like the suppliers, their work, our friends who are like no work, no pay, and for the stress of the couple. Kahit kaya nga sabi namin, intimate bibigay na kami, hindi na kami namimilit ng pwede ulit kami mag 350 na guest eh. Alam mo 'yon? Hindi
Hindi
na
na
okay
ayun.
lang. Kahit
Yeah, okay lang. Basta
kahit
matuloy lang.
50 lang. Kahit 25 lang. O, 25 plus 25 kami na staff. O, ganon.
Even the event
Anyway,
venues, when you talk about the two event venues, diba? They are also
yeah.
requesting the same things. Eh. They are willing to
Mm,
put in these safety features para lang matuloy ang mga events. Like
yeah.
they won't open up the big reception rooms. They'll just open up yung mga small
Mm,
ones. They're willing to cut up
right,
yung
right.
mga tables and all. So yeah, the wedding industry is really hoping that the government will listen or at
Mm,
least negotiate with them para lang magkaroon ng tulad. It's for the benefit of both the couples and the suppliers. But again, I
mm.
believe there's still hope. Yun yung gusto naman natin.
Yeah.
There's still hope for everyone, both suppliers and couples. So from the big weddings, like you're seeing
Mm,
on the screen right now, next on the next slide. So these are some shots that I had before when I was still a wedding. So this is just a um, 300 packs wedding that I did before. There's hope because from this we might be seeing the next slide. So it may be just a
sige.
smaller,
Mm,
yeah, baka yung bride and groom na lang for most part. Photographers may be confined to just taking pictures of the bride and groom, wag na yung big groups. And then on the supplier
mm.
side, from big teams,
Yan.
from large teams
Medyo
like
may
this one. So
maliit lang.
ito photo video pa lang nakikita nyo dito. So this is just the photo video team. Imagine this is already around more than 10, mga 12, 13 people na. So from a large team like that to just a smaller team of about 6 at most from the photo video. Imagine pa dun sa mga event
Mhm.
coordinators and then the waiters and all. So really, it's a smaller team may suffice.
Right, right.
So yun, at
Yung
least
iba nga parang build up na sila na. Right.
yeah, situationer muna tayo. We need to understand these things before we really understand how much budget do the couples need moving forward. Yun yung next question eh.
Mm.
But yeah, and you said at the start that some people, some couples may have actually spent their budget for as emergency fund. So question is, where did your wedding budget go? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So a lot of our couples probably use this as emergency fund. So lumalabas, they use their money budget for their shelter, the utilities. I heard Meralco is already starting to send out yung bills.
Ayan
Ay,
na si Judith.
Diyan na si
Hello,
Panatit.
Judith.
Buti na lang si Jonah. Si Jonah medyo nadidelay si Jonah ngayon.
Wala pa si Jonah.
Pero at meron na makikita na natin kung magkano ang sisingil dadali ni Judith sa atin. And yung,
Mm-mm.
well, the food. I'm sure a lot of people stress eating, anxiety eating at home.
Right,
It's
right.
expected. It's expected. I understand people. I do that. I do this sometimes, and I try to counter it with exercise. And you would be surprised. Makikita mo pa rin actually from the likes of Zalora, from Lazada, makakarinig ka pa rin ng ano eh. You still get those notifications for people to buy clothing and may bumibili. That means may meron pa rin bumibili.
Right.
In other words, people are in this mode. Uh, Frank Herbert said this: survival is the ability to swim in strange water. And currently, we are in strange water. But the topic of our talk today is about rebuilding your savings or rebuilding that budget that you may want to spend for your new normal wedding. Diba? And that's
Mm-mm.
what we aim to help you guys with. Like I said, our objective now is to help you, give you options, and understand how you can move forward. So the first thing, the first thing that we need to do, I believe, as a retirement coach and as a financial advisor, is we need to organize our expenses. In other words, we have to manage our cash outflow. How do we do this? Many of us who are members of the Truly Rich Club by Brother Bo Sanchez have heard of the 70-20-10. I have tried
Mm-mm.
my best. I have tried my best to follow the 70-20-10, but it's challenging, you know, it's challenging. So what I did, I researched around and I found this very nice framework. I found this very nice framework. It's called the 50-30-20. Now, okay, so this framework, 50% goes to the needs. The
Mm-mm.
30% goes to the wants, and savings is 20%. During this quarantine period, it's important to understand that the wants is going to be set aside, right? We
Oo.
Most of our funds will now go to the needs, upkeep, diba?
Mm-mm.
Operational budget, making sure that food is on the table, the lights are on, and the like. Or if you're renting, I don't think a lot of our real estate or landlords are suspending rent, di ba? So we have to pay for the last 2 months. Kailangan pa rin
Oo.
magbayad, right?
Yun nga
And then,
yung worry ng ibang suppliers and ibang businesses kasi parang with
yes,
no income and then you still have to pay this, saan ka kukuha ngayon?
yeah, saan ka kukuha ng ano ng saan ka kukuha ng budget? Oops, what's that? Saan ka kukuha ng budget, di ba? And then for the
Mhm.
savings, so a lot of, if you look at this 50-30-20, if only 50% is allotted for needs, the wants now, the 30% you can save it up, right?
Mm.
Diba? So going to the savings account, right? So you don't need to. So gusto kong I'd like everyone to focus on the two boxes first. So it's needs 50% and then savings. In the savings part, it's a savings account. So going back to the budget, growing your budget. Question is, when are you planning your wedding now? So if you are your desire is to grow your savings, question is when do you need it? Because if you plan to have your wedding in the next 6 months, the investment vehicle that you have to look for or to understand are short-term investments. This is money that you would need within a year or two. So 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
1 year, or 2 years from now, if you decide to, it's not safe this year, it's not safe until a vaccine is out. So doon tayo papasok sa short-term investments. And for short-term investment options, we only have two. A lot of people, some people will say that there are a lot of short-term investment options, but with the quarantine, there are some investment options that are not available, like businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Cryptocurrency is hard right now. It's maraming hindi gumagana sa cryptocurrency. So these two are two options that I'd like people to understand. So
Mm.
yung more famously known is time deposit. I think you know this, Jonathan, no?
Oo.
Or fixed deposit accounts, FDAs. And the next one is money market funds. Are you familiar with the
Mm.
money market funds?
It's a familiar term pero like in a full detail hindi pa masyado eh.
I will go
But
into
that, I
that.
think that for all our yeah, for all our audience, it's the concept of time deposit and fixed deposit medyo it's a normal thing for us na eh.
Uh, uh, so
All
for the
right?
time deposit and fixed deposit accounts, it's very easy. It's very easy to understand, and many of you know it. It's traditional and reliable. It's grown by banks. So you grow your fund in the banks. It has higher interest rate than regular savings. So that's one of the main
Mm.
reasons why you want to put your money there if you're expecting to use it in 6 months' time. The larger the deposit and the longer term duration, it yields higher returns. I will actually show you guys some examples of the current time deposit interest rates. And the interest rates are fixed given certain parameters. Like if you invest this amount and for a certain duration, this is the rate. If you
Mm.
withdraw it, the reason why there are penalties is if you withdraw it before the duration the contract duration, doon magkakaroon ng
Mm.
penalties. Like sometimes it's 25%, sometimes 30%. Different banks, different schemes, right?
Right.
So here are some time deposit options. East West Bank. These are May 2020 rates that I pulled up
Okay.
for you guys. So I hope you can actually check these with the bank websites. East West Bank rate is 1.125% to 2%.
To 5%.
So this
Mm.
is for a 90-day term. They have shorter terms like 30 days, 60 days. Um, so, but tapos mas maliit yung minimum investment for those. If you go
Yeah.
with those, mas maliit din yung rate. Okay, so these are just
Mm.
examples. These are just examples. Ito yung best that I've actually seen. Um, so 1.125, 1.5, 1.5, and 1.625. And these are the minimum investments. But aside from these, so if you're on the live, you can take a screenshot of this this list so that you can counter or you can validate it from their website. And
Mhm.
ito yung mga other time deposit options naman. There's BDO, there's PS Bank, there's Metrobank, Maybank. BPI has some, and Union Bank,
Mm.
Land Bank, and PNB. So marami. And it also depends on which banks are available to you. Some of them fortunately have online, like Security Bank has,
Oo.
East West Bank has. So meron mga online enabled, online ready na mga type banks, and you can actually go into time deposit with them already.
Mhm.
Okay, so give me a moment, nagahang
Okay.
yung aking,
You good?
yeah, give me a moment, Jonathan, nagahang yung aking screen.
Sige, sige.
So what do you think about time
Uh,
deposits? Would it's is it something that you would explore yourself?
I think many of us have explored the concept of time deposit with, I think it's an age-old ano na eh, financial parang option eh. Kasi nga ang tagal na siyang ino-offer. Plus yun nga, the flexi options right now for whether whatever bank you are you're inclined to using, medyo mas madali siya na you have that minimum amount to save and whatnot. And yun nga, parang you just have to make sure na hindi mo siya gagalawin to avoid all the penalties within the X number of period that you want to do. Now, kasi parang for some, before, especially yung mga siguro parents natin, yung concept nila ng time deposit, yun yung pinakamadaling pang-ipon back then for college or like for your bigger events in life. Like for weddings. Kasi on our end naman, ngayon, for, I guess for some couples, mag-joint account mo sila, they do the flex, yung mga deposits like this. Yun, yung mga like 90 or 180 day 180 period lang para at
Yeah,
least
yeah.
pagdating nun medyo lumaki siyang konti, you use that to pay out your for your special day. Yan.
Yeah, it's important. It's really important to know when is your target date. Kailan na yung bagong
Mhm.
date for your wedding. A lot of our couples, a lot of your couples probably have been shopping for dates now. Even if there's no wala pang sure na date kung kailan papayagan yung mga weddings ulit. I'm sure a lot of
Mm.
people. I've seen some of our supplier friends nagbubuk na. Probably 20, and some have even said na 2021 na yung booking nila, mga around
Yes.
August yata.
Oo.
August, some
Mga
are starting
ganun.
to book.
Actually, the mindset of everyone is past 2020 na, yung talagang medyo they still want to do the traditional, big weddings that they have. Their minds
Mm,
is already at 2021 or even yung iba medyo super secure, nag-iisip na ng 2022 as a backup. Pero
yeah,
for the
yeah.
rest, mga siguro like quarter 2, normally quarter 1, quarter 2 ang naririnig ko ngayon. Quarter 1, quarter 2 of 2021. Tapos yung mga medyo very optimistic pa, this yung last quarter of the year. Kasi
Yeah,
definitely the second and the third medyo unless a final a more concrete action plan has been set up by the government or like how long are we going to like wait for the vaccine and all. So medyo kaya ang isip ng iba quarter 4 ng 2020 or early 2021 na lang. Pero yung iba naman, medyo defy the odds, mag-i-intimate ngayon, magbe-big celeb next year. Kumbaga
big
ito yung talagang for the civil na lang. Civil
yeah,
ceremony, Christian rites lang, sila lang ng family or like 5 people lang halos eh. Parang officiating minister, couple, 2 witnesses. Pero matuloy lang talaga siya. Then everyone else can
matuloy
just
lang.
watch online or
Matuloy lang.
whatever. Yeah. Defy the odds nga eh. Tapos the entire celebration goes like next year na lang. Which is
Yeah.
okay din. So it really
So
depends eh. Pag yung mindset nila is for the next year activities na, yun, I think you
true.
have a huge amount of time if you go for this option eh. Kasi nga, parang itabi mo muna, huwag mo siyang gagalawin, tapos let it grow. Tapos use this to fund that. Diba?
And even yung mga lights and sound suppliers na nakikita natin, they've started to diversify. So instead of renting out lights and sounds, ang ginagawa nila ngayon is yung camera and remote
Mm.
Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi connection. Kasi you know, if online will be the new norm, they are starting to understand that they have to invest in the equipment that will allow online weddings to flourish. Diba? It's going to
Yeah,
be a
yeah.
game changer talaga.
Mm.
Pero
Yun
going
nga,
back,
yun yung medyo we're trying to, like, where do you go from here? So, ano yung mga, either you
exactly.
adapt or, the adaptation the thinking na of many of us. What you need to do to either get through this portion muna and then go back to what we do before or, just come up with something absolutely different na on top of what we're doing. Eto naman. Yun.
Yeah. I'm
Anyway.
sure I'm sure a lot of businesses will come out of this after this quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And
I believe that too.
who knows what will be the new normal? after this for the wedding industry. Baka nga ito na yung normal, di ba? Or going back, so we discussed time deposit. So if your plan is really 6 months, or if you are going to move your wedding to next year around June, go for time deposit. This is one option. If you're fine, kasi ano there's no risk, little to no risk at all. Kasi meron
Mm-hmm.
ka pang insurance. Time deposits come with insurance. Money
Right,
insurance,
right.
not life insurance. So it
Mm-hmm.
comes with money insurance.
Mm-hmm.
The next one that we're going to go into, and the one you see in the screen, is money market. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
what is money market? So money market is actually debt instrument. So when government or when government and private companies need to make a loan, so meron silang and the debt needs to be paid, pinapaano nila yan. Um, binebenta nila wholesale. So the public won't be able to buy into those unless they are buying into funds. So doon lumabas yung money market fund, is to allow the public to buy into these debt instruments uh, in the form of retail. So the investment, you can only invest on these securities through a fund manager. So din papasok yung mga fund managers. And it has higher returns than time deposit. But it's not guaranteed.
Yes.
So money market fund is
Mm-hmm.
still not guaranteed. It's riskier, but it has higher possible returns than time deposit. And
Mm-hmm.
another good thing about it, it's less riskier naman than bonds and equities. Okay. So like me, I'm part of ProLife. We have a money market fund. So we are one of those
Mm-hmm.
who um, allow the public to invest in money market. And another advantage is that you're still liquid. You can get in, you can get out. You can sell your fund. You can sell your units of funds money market. So where to invest in the money market? These are the options. You can go for mutual fund companies. There are a lot of mutual fund companies. Some of them are our competitors, but ProLife there are investment in financial advisors who can sell investment funds. You can go for them, look for them, and those are for ProLife. And then you have UITF, or Unit Investment Trust Funds. And then there's the Personal Equity and Retirement Account, SPERA. This is a program. And the VUL is something that I really carry. So those are the variable unit life plans, which has insurance also already a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's insurance and the investment fund. Pero may
Okay.
setbacks din naman. There are some setbacks to there are some risks related to money market. So while time deposit has money insurance, so to a certain amount, money market does not have money insurance. Long So long-term negotiable certificate deposit, savings, and time deposit may insurance yan. Again, returns are not guaranteed for money market. There's also there inflation, and there are fees. There are
Mm-hmm.
so Since there's a fund
Oh,
manager, may management fees yan.
right.
So in other words, if the growth of the fund is not big enough to counter inflation and fees, may chance na mas mababa yung return sa'yo.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you
Right.
want, yeah, go ahead.
Now, kasi right now, if you check the concept of the money markets, is mas mataas nga yung risk niya. So
Yeah.
when, on a theoretical note, when would it be ideal na, okay, let's go for this? Definitely, you need knowledge. You need to understand how all of these elements work, kung
Mm-hmm.
anong function niya, kung how to invest properly, on which of the four ka magfo-focus, how do you monitor them on a regular basis, which ones do you check, the trend of the market, di ba? So medyo maraming aralin to, tama ba ako?
For both of these options, so for example, for time deposit, it's really just deposit. Let the money stay there for the period that you chose. Wag mong withdrawin until umabot dun sa para wala kang penalties. And then for the
Mm.
money market fund, may fund manager ka who will be monitoring everything and all. You just coordinate with the fund manager. Tanongin mo, how is it doing? So if you're happy with the returns, you can pull out ka na. So
Mm,
ano lang yun, invest and out. There's still monitoring involved, but at least you have a fund manager trying to make sure that
mm.
it goes up. Yeah.
Right, right.
So
Okay.
some people may be asking, why not go for bonds and go for stocks? These two
Oh,
are long term. These are long term investments, bonds and stocks.
sobra.
If if you're a stock into stocks, you're like me. I'm into stocks, and if you are a trader, it's fine if you are experienced and if you have skill, if
Oo.
you know where what to monitor, if you know um, what to look at, what are the dips, what are the behavior and patterns. If you are already experienced at it, I would have put it here. So, diba?
Right,
It's still
right.
an option for you to invest and grow your money if you know what you're doing. If you
Exactly.
don't,
Mas medyo higher level of learning na siya eh. And
yeah,
understanding
yeah,
how it works eh. Pero
exactly, exactly.
on the
So,
concept for couples, I think either if you have a really good fund manager, you can go for money markets. Pero kung talagang ang medyo short-term thinking ka lang muna, it's easy for you to go to the time deposit. Basta so long as your money is not like physically with you. Kasi if you have it at hand, doon medyo dumudulas yan eh. Napupunta sa ibang hindi, yung, di ba, we have the 30, 20, napupunta siya bigla doon sa ones, nang hindi mo
ah,
sinasadya, naliligaw ng landas,
yung
ayun.
tipong
Or
biglang
nagiging, gina-justify siya na wants, hindi gina-justify na needs yung wants.
oo, ito example, ako I slipped din, especially during this quarantine. For example, biglang nag-announce, open na ang Shake Shack, puwede na magpa-deliver. I don't need Shake Shack at this moment in time, pero since
Mm.
quarantine ako, I feel anxious about what I'm doing. Medyo stressed ako kasi it's hard to find clients nowadays. Okay, I will give in to my cravings. Magpapa-deliver ako
Oo.
for the likes of Shake Shack or Big Brat Burger. You know,
Mm.
nagja-slide ka instead of just spending your money for the right reasons or your needs right now. Napupunta ka
Mm.
dun sa cravings mo and wants. Yeah.
Right, right, right. Yun yung medyo naliligaw ka ng landas ng slide. Pero although it looks like it's necessity, pero pwede mo siyang bawasan kasi pwedeng hindi ka magpadala sa tukso.
Exactly. Kaya,
Right.
it's important to use a framework like that. Then you categorize your expenses. Lagay mo dun sa
Mm.
50 or wag mo na muna pansinin yung 50%, 30%, 20%. Just categorize your cash outflow. Is it
Yeah,
this
yeah.
amount goes to needs, these items go to
Mm.
needs, these items are going to savings, these items go for wants. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So from there, so compute ka and just check if how much of your money is going, how much percent goes to needs, how much goes to ganyan and so on. From there you can make adjustments. So
Right.
kumbaga
Kasi I
status
think
quo,
mm.
you have a baseline.
Kasi oo, kasi yung iba I think when you say you do savings, parang feeling nung iba, like especially during the couples na nag-iipon for their wedding, parang pa-deprive na yung level nila na, shucks, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-date, hindi tayo pwedeng lumabas kasi we're saving for the wedding. Tuloy, yung stress, nagpa-pile up
Tumataas.
kahit yung mga maliliit na bagay na gano'n.
Yeah.
Yun yung nakakalungkot na practice, pwede pa lang, oh, this is our combined salaries. We deal with Judith and Jonah. We deal with our obligations. Tapos we have a little for the savings for the wedding. And then everything else is just like for our fun, for our date nights and what have you. Pwede pa lang ganun. Hindi kailangan na wala si date night, savings lang saka si needs.
Yeah. So, yun, after you have that baseline, mas may understanding ka na ngayon how much money you really need to save up for your wedding and how much you can give yourself some you celebrate some wins. May ginagawa ka
Mm,
sa bahay that you need to celebrate. Celebrate mo naman para hindi ka naman anxious and stressed always. Diba?
mm. All right.
So this is a game. If people want to, siguro very shortly, you put in the comments. Let's have a very quick. This is a break. Break tayo ngayon. Let's. Speaking of COVID, what's your antibody name? So while watching this, what are you feeling right now? So I think there are some questions, so we'll answer those questions later. Thank you for sending those questions. So what you're feeling right now, and then the last thing you ate, and what's your object? What's the object to your right? So put these together.
Ayan.
Yeah, put these together, and then put it in the comments. I'd like to see how many are still engaged in our talk. Put it in the comments. The best one, I'll be sending you. I'll send you a message. Ask for your email. I'll send you something that we can help with uh, your 50-30-20. I'll be sending
Okay,
that to
sige.
you. So put it in the comments. Lagay lang sila sa comments, and we'll proceed.
All right. So for everyone still watching, please do write down the comment section below. What you're feeling right now, the last thing you ate, and an object to your right. So kung ako to, what are you feeling right now? So I'm excited. I ate carbonara. And then my object to my right is my printer.
Printer.
Parang ang gulo nun ah. Oo.
So
Medyo
put
ano
them
yun.
together. Ano yung sa'yo?
So, excited carbonara printer? Parang ang labo.
So yan yung
Alright.
antibody name mo. Ako naman. So what I'm feeling, I'm hopeful. Right, that's one. I'm hopeful, and the last thing that I ate was a cookie, an oatmeal cookie na I baked with my little girl. So hopeful, baked oatmeal cookie, and object to my right is a hard disk.
Ayan.
Yeah.
So, si Miss Summer,
So weird
ano,
then.
sumagot.
Weird then. So yeah.
Ayan.
So
Hungry
summer,
hot
si
dog,
summer.
hungry hot dog sandwich electric fan ang kay Miss Summer. She's actually a events organizer and wedding planner din. Hi ma'am, thank you for watching.
Hi summer. Hi summer.
Ayan. So that's one of the answers.
Kasi
Sige.
so I'm sure some more people will be posting their comments. Tapos we'll choose the most creative one, the
Mm.
most creative one. Then I'll send you a message and ask for your email so that I can send a PDF that can help you with um, your savings mindset. Dun sa 50-30-20.
Sige, sige. Alright.
So we went to this exercise because the next part will be about crisis proofing your finances. Or in other words, how could you have been more prepared? But first, we have to understand what is crisis. That's a question that many will ask. What is crisis? So these are just some of the things that define what a crisis is. It's violent wars, pandemic, the one we have right now, government
Mhm.
shutdown is a crisis, market depression, recession. It's also a form of crisis. This fourth one, I think the government has to understand this. We saw this one after the 1918 Spanish flu.
Mm.
After that pandemic, there was the Great Depression.
Right,
Why?
right.
Because so after so many people died, a lot of people had no work. Economies were driven insane. Nagkaroon ng depression tuloy. So
Mm.
economies were really thrown out of whack. So aside from these big things, people have we all have our crisis that can happen to us, like critical illness and total and permanent disability. So these are also
Mm.
crises that we may experience at any point in time. You mentioned a while ago when you were introducing me that my wife is a major stroke survivor. So ano siya
Oo.
doon? Not even 50-50. There was a point na 80-20 na lang sabi ng doctor kasi it was a brain aneurysm yung stroke niya. So The amount of blood in our brain surpassed the threshold that the brain can withstand. So it was honestly a miracle, and I thank the medical staff, like many like our frontliners right now. I thank them for doing good job. That my wife is alive and still
Mm-mm.
recovering from that crisis.
Yeah. Yeah, actually nung during that entire period nga na you were sharing your journey nung sa wife mo. Grabe nakakaano, parang you come to realize how how precious definitely life is, and at the same time how fast things can turn from a good day to a bad day to a crazy long period na parang ayaw matapos, but still syempre with God's grace and of course with the help of our friends in the medical industry and of course your faith, ayun, medyo things are slowly, I guess, coming back to normal with from your
Slowly.
end, especially with your slowly. Pero sobrang nakakaano pa rin, parang kaya to, kayang tumawid, kakayanin, kumbaga. Alright.
All right. So to get through a crisis, actually, there are three basic ways.
Mm,
Um, what we call active proofing, passive proofing, and then there's
mm,
income protection.
mhm,
Let's talk about active proofing. I think many people have already been doing this active proofing. It's quite simple. Active meaning you're doing something active about it. So hindi siya yung you just invest it somewhere and then you let it go. This
mm,
one is all about having a second source of income. May it
right.
be you invest in a business, that's still active kasi you need to manage that business.
Oo.
You have a sideline job.
Mm,
So marami diyan yung mga IT. I was in IT
right.
before. And I remember there were times that I would get projects for myself
Mm,
outside of work just to supplement and augment my income. And then there's freelancing. Uh,
oo.
there were a few times when I was a photographer. So imagine the crisis that I was in 2014 when my wife had a stroke. I was an IT. I was
Mm,
working. I had my photography clients. I had weddings to shoot. Um, and then I had to take care of my wife. So crisis talaga yon. But it's an
grabe.
example. It's an example of active proofing.
Mm,
I had several sources of income.
mm,
If you have the benefit of active proofing is that when one of your income sources fails, for
oo.
example, yung work mo nag-stop kasi yung company that you work for walang income,
Mm,
no pay ka, but you still have clients coming in from abroad for sa
mm,
mga sideline. So good, 'di ba? Good.
mm,
That's one. So business is another one. If you gawa ka ng sideline business, for example, gumagawa ka ng pagkain,
yan.
you
Online
learn how to bake,
selling.
you sell online selling, and there have been a lot of opportunities where MLM, mga network marketers must have reached out to you, inviting you, join us.
Oo.
And noon, I'm sure, a lot of you have said, nah, I don't sell. Hindi ako marunong mag-sell, I don't wanna join, wag mo akong PPM. Uh, may mga posts pa dyan on Facebook saying, hoy, in-invite lang ako kasi magkape, ano, tayo,
The
tapos,
classic. Yeah, yeah.
ah,
Yung classic. Nagkaroon ng bad
dami,
image yung konsepto ng pagkakape dahil dun eh. Let's be
right.
honest, which parang no-off na yung tao pag inaaya mo. Although talaga minsan they just want to catch up. Yung iba parang, ha? Bakit? Ganun agad. May ganun
Dami,
agad.
dami pang
Yeah, yeah.
nangaasar noon on Facebook that power, di ba? Ang dami pang nangaasar noon. They spoke so lowly of our friends in the MLM industry. But when you look at it now, these same people have been active proofing their income for
Mm-mm.
quite some time.
Right,
Those
right.
who are part-time. So when this crisis hit, even if their main source of income, which is salary, nawala, okay lang sila. They're fine because they were
Mm-mm.
able to active proof their income. And some even hanggang ngayon, I mean, I have friends from New Skin, I have friends from Usana, they still sell and they can still sell. Kasi yung
Oo.
deliveries are not stopping.
Mm.
So you may want to even for example, kami, insurance. I've been recruiting people to join my team. And a lot of people will say, I don't sell, I don't know how to sell. Pero you see them selling a little products of theirs.
Right.
They won't join. Pero now, the people that I was able to recruit, they're able to pad their income. So
Mm.
ngayon nafi-feel nila yung reduced pay kasi kulang yung income ng company, hindi sila masyadong afraid. Kasi
Right.
nag-active sila with us. So this may be an opportunity for you to choose. Balikan nyo yung look for a sideline, go for, ano ba yun? Odesk ba yun? Ano ba yung options natin for online jobs,
Yeah,
Jonathan?
freelancer, PH, and then Odesk. Yeah. And then actually, even Facebook groups have that na eh. You just have to find your specific groups that you're good in, whether it's like, for me, it's basically voiceover work, web dev,
Yeah.
and then everything
Uh-huh.
else in between about tech. Ganun talaga. So actually, in my end, I have I've been freelancing for 10 years as a host. So talagang yun yung pang-augment ko when I have my day job. So ngayon dahil medyo walang events, for God's grace, at least I have my day job to back me up. For the rest of our friends naman in the industry, yun, I know of photographers na medyo iba muning ginagawa. Like shoutout lang ako kay Sir Don Robert. So he's into bridal cars. Ngayon medyo may mga binebenta muna
I
siya
love
mga
Robert.
gamit, which is really good. Same thing with other
He's
caterers. So instead of doing catering businesses, they engage, they offer their food cuisines in delivery format. So medyo binago lang nila ng konti pero ganun pa din. So ngayon medyo parang binubuhay nila yung section na yon para makatawid. And I guess for many of us, yun yung nagiging ano natin eh. Parang just in case wala, especially I think for almost wedding suppliers and even other people in the regular 9 to 5 jobs, parang meron tayong laging pangsundot, so to speak, pag
salo.
medyo kinakapos,
Pangsalo.
pangsalo sa mga pag medyo sumobra si Judith ng konti, mga ganyan. I think it's almost a must for many of us para lang we have like a normal sense of balance nga na you have this amount, this income for your needs, and then whatever you have from your sidelines, these are like for your wants and your savings na talaga para at least hindi masyadong mabigat.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yun, aside from looking for sidelines, mga sa Odesk and the like, and choosing a different business or pivoting your existing business, there's the MLMs that you can go back to. Kasi they can't, they're business, tuloy-tuloy business sila. Hanapin mo uli yung nag-invite sa'yo sa New Skin, nag-invite sa'yo sa Usana, yung
PM mo
nag-invite
ulit.
sa'yo sa,
I-unblock, i-unblock
sa
mo muna,
insurance.
sorry. Paki-unblock muna.
Yung mga in-unfriend mo kasi kinukulit ka, join me, join me, join me. It may be time. Yeah, it's active proof. This is an active proofing strategy.
Mm.
Yun.
Yun.
And the next one is passive proofing. In passive proofing, your money works for you. This is where you invest your income. So this is something that you should have been doing since investments was created. Um,
Mm.
So stock market, bonds, VUL, when it was created in 2001 by PruLife, you should have started to invest back then so that during these times,
Mm.
ayun, si Summer daw, Young Living. So that's another
Oh, yung
option.
essential oils.
My wife is a member of Young Living, so so
Ayun.
ayan. I digress. Ayan. So going back,
And
so
anyway.
let your money grow. If you were able to let your money grow through investments way back then,
Mm.
during this time, it's like you're earning a salary through interest. For
Right.
example, in 2003, if you started to invest, tapos 2013, tapos na yung 10-year investment mo in in VUL.
Mm.
So from that point on, pataas na lang yung value. Nag-earn na lang siya because of interest.
Right, right.
For example, for Pru Life, one of our funds, growth fund, 10.78% per annum.
That's big.
So imagine that if you were able to invest a total of 1 million pesos for 10 years or 100,000 annually, 1 million tapos 10%, 10%, 10%. Imagine you're parang sumisweldo ka ng 100,000 plus plus every year.
Mm.
Tapos imagine pa pag mas malaki pa yung ininvest mo before, di ba? So in other words, if you don't need the money,
Mm.
it has the potential to keep on growing. And then
Right.
when you need money, you just withdraw.
Yes.
So what are the different vehicles, di ba? There's stocks. Wala
Mm.
yata ako. Am I back?
Yeah, yeah, you're here.
Okay. So these are long-term investments. And then we go with income protection. So ito yung third. So we have the active, we have the active passive, and now we go with income protection. So for your income protection, this is how I'd like to present it to you guys. There are four categories that people belong to right now. So people who live in luxury, people who live comfortably, and then there's the poor people,
Mm-hmm.
and yung people who rely on charity.
Right.
Okay. So if you look at this, if a person who's living in luxury and comfortable in a comfortable setting, how is that possible? Because someone is working, so you have
Mm-hmm.
a man at work. Okay, let's let the
Yeah.
PowerPoint catch up. So we have
Yeah.
there's a man at work, or you have a breadwinner. Ngayon, ang question is, what will happen if the person is not able to bring in the money? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what will happen? Parang hindi gumalaw, Jonathan, yung ano.
Teka. Yan, yan. Yan. Keep
Okay.
moving from your end. Ayan na. Gumalaw na siya.
Saglit lang. Ayan,
Oh,
gumalaw na siya.
yeah.
So what
Okay,
will
okay.
happen? Okay, next one, man at work. Eh, pag nawala yung man at work naman. So what will happen pag nawala? So pupunta siya sa baba. Diba?
Mm-hmm.
The family will go to the poor and charity category. Ang important dyan is when the person is not able to bring in income because of crisis, there's another source that can come in to replace the income that's lost. In
Mm.
other words, there's income replacement. May
Right, right.
papalit dun sa income na nawala. So what are the things that will prevent a person from bringing in money, and why there's a need for income protection? And that's because of these four things.
Yeah.
There's death. Then yung worst case, if the breadwinner passes away, no more money. Diba? Definitely no more income coming in. So that's where life insurance comes into play. All right.
Oh.
And then for example, there's critical illness. If nagkasakit, like what happened to my wife, na stroke. So the income that was lost because she wasn't able to work may papasok to help with
Mm-hmm.
the operational expenses. And for a time, for example, sa wife ko, for a time, if I remember, that's about 8 months to a year, unable to, disabled siya. Totally and permanently disabled siya. She is not able to go to work. She's not able to fend for herself. We needed to take care of her. Clothing, bathing, those were hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
So disabled siya, in other words. So dun papasok pa rin the need for income protection. And then there's this accidents that we all know. Pag
Mm-hmm.
na-accident ka, pwede kang ma-disable, pwede kang, the worst case is you pass away. And for you to be able to, afford income protection, you have to settle premiums. Some people would like to go for term insurance. So
Mm-hmm.
that's mostly life insurance. It's really life insurance. The one we really like to people to understand is the importance of VUL. Why? Because the premiums that you invest in VUL, you get two in one. You get protection, income protection, and you get investments at the same time. The amount of premiums that you invest into VUL, kayang i-customize ng agent mo yan, ng financial
Mm-hmm.
advisor. It's either they put more premiums or more protection. When they do that, mas kokonti yung sa investments.
Right.
So technical na to. I won't go into the technical terms. You can talk to your financial advisor. You can talk to me. I can help you understand this further. But the bottom line is it's configurable. If you want to use your VUL as a fund for long-term investments, for example, a 5-year investment, di bawasan mo yung protection. Just for
Mm-hmm.
go for life insurance so that your investment has more potential to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically how it works. And there are three options. Where if you're going to go for VUL, you have three basic types. You have regular pay, limited pay, and single pay. For regular pay, it's really more protection because it's a continuous subscription for income protection. There's still investment because it's VUL.
Mm-hmm.
It will continue to grow as long as you keep investing into your policy.
Mm-hmm.
So since for life siya, it's like you're using it as a savings. So for
Exactly.
example, you're investing 60,000 pesos and you put in so much protection. So around figures lang tayo. 50,000 goes to protection. The
Mm-hmm.
10,000, the 10,000 you invest every year is earning interest every year that you invest the 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So 30 years time, 30 years time if you are still young, 30 years old ka, when you reach 60, ang dami mo nang na-invest na pera, 10,000 every year.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So by the time you get to a crisis mode, meron kang extra income that has been growing every year, hopefully 10%, di ba? Projection
Mm-hmm.
10%, hopefully 10%. So hindi natutulog yung pera mo sa bangko.
Right.
Hindi natutulog sa savings, which is deflating every year because of
Mm-hmm.
inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the other option is you go for limited pay. For limited pay, it's a good mix of protection and investment. This is where you get to play more. How you need protection, you need to catch up kasi 55 years old ka na. Okay, get a 5-year
Mm-hmm.
investment, protection ka. Pero if you're protected enough, edi you invest na lang, di ba? You still
Right.
have
Right.
that option. So there will be people who will say, wag VUL kasi ganyan, there are charges. That's a fair point, but people have to understand that for VUL, there's a fund manager. And there's always going to be a fund manager who will do their best to make sure that the money grows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then the single pay is a lump sum. Ito investment talaga to. Point of point of contention for everyone. For single pay, it's not really a good idea right now because the market is unstable, volatile siya. So
Right.
there's
Right.
black swan, there's gray rhino. So hindi pa siya stable, so it's better to invest slowly para may cost averaging ka.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, medyo technical medyo technical for some. So if you're cost averaging kasi your investment this year or this month naggo-grow yung units mo. So whether the market fluctuates, on the average, it has the potential to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the important thing to note with VUL or income protection is you get two in one. You get protection to, that
And
will that has guaranteed benefits to keep
mm-hmm.
your family afloat into the luxury and the comfortable category sa taas.
Mm-hmm.
You get to maintain that. And if no crisis happens sometime down the road you have loads of money that is accessible to you for
Which is always
retirement
a
naman.
good thing.
Yeah, which is always a good thing. Who wouldn't want a good amount of money for their retirement?
Mm-hmm.
Sabi
Right.
nga nila, no amount of money is enough when you are old and you don't want to, or ayaw mo na magbanat ng buto.
Right.
Gusto mo pahinga,
Exactly.
no money.
Oo.
Okay? Actually, that's the ano. Um, I hope I was able to help you. Kami ni Jonathan. I hope we were able to help our viewers. So we went into the effect of quarantine on weddings. We went into how to manage your expenses using the 50-30-20 approach. How to rebuild your savings, how to grow it for short-term goals like your wedding 6 months to a year from now. And then we also went to crisis proofing through sideline work, through other businesses, through MLM, how to crisis proof through investments, passive proofing, and then crisis proofing through income protection, VUL specifically. Right.
Ayun.
So I hope people will like my page, Jonathan.
And,
They can search for me, Rise with Retirement Coach Mike Togle.
mm-hmm.
I have a
All
special
right.
offer below. I have a special offer below. They can just send me an email, tell me what part of this talk they liked, and
Okay.
then I will send them a worksheet to help them with their 50-30-20.
That's PLUK Mike Togle at gmail.com. All right. So just for
Yes,
those who are
yes.
watching or will be watching this when we post it on YouTube, just send him an email and you'll get a very special worksheet. All right. Now, before we wrap up lang, no, medyo may konting lightning round lang ako, sir, sa inyo. I just want to get your idea, since you are a financial advisor, on some of the
May
common
questions ba?
budget
May questions?
or I think medyo ulay ko lang to. Tapos let's see the comment section if you have any questions,
Go
right?
ahead, go ahead. Yeah,
Sige.
go ahead.
These are just some common budget-related concerns or mindsets of couples regarding their big day. So, unang question is, we plan to take a bank loan for our wedding. What do
Okay.
you think about that?
It really depends on how much amount that you really need for your new wedding. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
How much of your wedding budget was used up? So talagang pag ubus na and you don't have capital to invest in short term, well, bank loan may not be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
It, it, as long as you are able to, you plan ahead how you will be able to pay for the bank loan.
Which is the important part.
Yeah. Para hindi ka naman mabaon sa utang, di ba?
Exactly. Mahirap mag-start ng new life nyo as husband and wife in debt. Agad-agad.
And we've heard we've heard of stories. I think 2 years, 3 years ago, this couple, not from the Philippines, from Singapore or Thailand ba yun, they invested in a 3 million worth of a wedding, pero
Wow.
everything was was founded on a loan. So they
Oh
made a
my
big
gosh.
loan,
Utang
extravagant wedding,
lahat.
utang lahat. Tapos after the wedding, so they spent most of their time trying to pay for the loan.
Mm.
Eh, nag-away na lang
Parang ang
sila.
hirap nun, 3 million. Tapos
Nag-away
for the
sila.
next 5 years, yun, maybe even 5 years, maybe 10 years of your married life, binabayaran mo pa rin yung one day na yon. Grabe.
Eh, imagine mo, di
Yeah.
ba? If you buy a condo for
Mm.
2.5 million or 3 million, imagine, ano ba sa ano, pag-ibig yun, di ba? So you
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
for it for 30 years, di ba? Imagine 30 years of your life trying to pay for a wedding, extravagant wedding that you may not have needed kasi you couldn't afford it in the first place, di ba?
Exactly. All right. Next, budget-related concern. We have saved a good amount for our wedding. For the rest, hopefully, maraming magpakimkim.
Explain.
The pakimkim is the, ano,
Bakit
basically, these are the things
nila
that
alam
you get
pag-Kim eh?
from the money. The, sorry, the term pakimkim is basically yung mga inabot sa'yo during the money dance, from your ninongs or ninangs, na makukuha mo lang on the day pa.
Yeah. So, ito story lang. I remember a friend of mine who was getting married. Ang budget na nilagay nila was 1 million pesos for their
Okay.
wedding. And it's not, honestly, it's not a bad amount
Hmm.
for big weddings, diba? It's not a bad amount for big weddings. Pero the reason why they opted for that amount because they were going to invite mga 250 people.
Okay.
And they were hoping
Makes
that
sense.
out of the 250 people, everyone will give 2,000 pesos.
Oh,
They were hoping for
okay.
that. So
Oh my
2,000
gosh.
pesos per person.
Ah,
Eh, we all know that sa ninong at ninang pa lang, pair na yun eh. Pero two people
yeah.
ang babayaran mo. Pero they will
Mm.
only give one. So what more
Oo,
yung...
exactly.
Pero yung ninong at ninang malaki naman magbigay most of the time.
Oo.
Pero for example, if you invited a couple, mag-asawa, tapos hindi naman sila ninong at ninang, paano pag 500 lang yung binigay? Or hingi
Mahirap
sila,
asahan.
mahirap asahan na pakimkim. Please, wag po ninyong gawin yan. Um, there was a story last year na ganun, umasa sa ganun yung couple. And they weren't able to pay the suppliers.
Yeah,
Remember
right.
that?
I
Remember
heard
that,
that
right?
story too. Sobrang ano yun, sobrang shocking nun. Kasi to a degree na, syempre the suppliers were very shocked to realize na yun pala yung plano, that they had to do the money dance twice or three times. So, sobrang, from the guest end, it's awkward. From the couple's end, hindi mo alam kung anong feeling nila. And then from the suppliers end, parang, ngayon pa lang kinukuha yung pambayad sa ating lahat. Paano pag walang naipon? Uuwi
Yeah.
tayo parehong luwaan. Which is very
And I,
frustrating and sad.
huh?
Tapos mararant ka
And
bigla
even
kasi
you
sa
as a,
Facebook.
yun pa, you're put in the spotlight. You're starting your married life in a negative stance, di ba? Lalabanan nyo pa yung mga bad vibes that you're getting from suppliers, from your friends na pinagchichismisan ka. It's not good. It won't be good for you.
Right, right. Okay. Next question is, I'll keep my wedding plans or my wedding day hush-hush para walang masyadong bisita, ergo, less expense.
Well, that doesn't sound bad to me. Uh, or especially with the quarantine or even after, it's really up to the couple. If you don't want
Mm,
to invite too many people, you can keep it very private. Hindi wag kang don't publish your photo. Kumbaga, if after your wedding, you publish your photos online and the people who rant on you, bakit hindi mo ako invite at galit sila, maybe they're not your friends at all. Di ba?
yes. Well, yeah, kasi it's mostly, dapat you should just receive congratulatory remarks, tama ba?
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, next. Um, for many, I think this is a consideration na parang yun nga, you'll spend on a civil wedding now and then a grand celebration after this. Is that is that okay lang when it comes to a financial standpoint, or should you just wait it off and do one event?
That's not a bad idea. A lot of people have been doing that for, I think, 5 years, 10 years na. So they have a very intimate civil wedding. Tapos kain na lang sa labas with family and some friends. So mga 30 packs lang yun. And then hopefully after 2 years, makapundar na sila para sa bigger wedding. The challenge with that is the bigger wedding usually doesn't happen. And church wedding usually nasa sacrifice. For
Mm,
those who are in religious. Um, so what I would suggest for those, it's you can go with that approach, pero plan ahead and stick to your second wedding plan. How much are you really going to save up for that wedding? Invest in the right vehicles. If it's going to be 5 years from now, invest in a 5-year investment, or put your money in a 5-year investment plan.
Mm.
This may be VUL, this may be mutual funds. It's really up to you. You have the options that we've laid out. Pero bottom line is, you go with that approach but stick to it. Stick to your plan. Hindi yung pagdating ng 5 years, nakasave ka na ng 1 million na gusto mong isave, tapos parang masarap bumili ng kotse ah.
Ayun.
Sa one.
Lagot. Doon tayo
Sa
nadali. Goodbye, wedding plans.
wedding,
Wala na.
wedding plans. Baka pag-awayan niyo pa yun ng misis mo, di ba? Or
Right,
pag-awayan
right.
niyo pa mag-asawa. Stick to your
Okay.
plan.
Good. Okay. So, again, we're inviting everyone who's still watching to please write down your questions at the comment box below. So we're just make sure to write it in the actual live stream. Baka nasa watch party kayo nagsusulat, di namin makikita agad-agad.
Wala naman,
So
wala
if you have
naman.
any questions, whether on it comes to, ayun, actually, this is a question pala that I got from a friend who's a supplier.
Yeah.
When is it a right time to like sell your assets? Kasi may iba during this period of quarantine, parang ay total wala pang masyadong events, benta ko muna yung camera ko, benta ko muna yung gear ko. Is that a good decision, or how do you weigh on that?
Is it, there's a difference ah. Is it bibenta nila yung gear nila or ipapon nila?
Uh, let's go for both. One is selling it, one is pawning it.
So selling may not be a good idea if you're going to stay in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the gear that you're going to sell are extra gear. For example, ako, as a photographer, I have 3 main cameras. Pero I have old cameras na mga tatlo. So yung tatlo na yon, when I stopped wedding photography, binenta ko yung tatlo.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still thinking of the third one to just keep 2. So it's not a bad idea pala to sell your gear if you're going to shift careers or shift your business, pivot entirely. Pero if you're planning on going back and still do the same business, and in reinvesting on those on the gear, baka mas malaki yung cash outlay mo kasi nag-ROI ka na for those equipment, di ba? ROI ka na doon eh. If on the other hand, if you are planning on pawning it kasi wala ka na talagang income right now, make sure to pawn it at the reputable pawn shops.
Right,
Wag
right.
yung kung mag-o-offer sa'yo na, sige, pautangin kita, collateral mo yung camera. Yung pala, nakatambak lang yung camera somewhere na it will deteriorate.
Right, right. Yun,
So
okay.
pawn is fine. Selling is not a good idea unless you're really shifting na.
Shifting. Kung shifting ka na talaga. Pero for now, kung you're still going to stick in the industry, huwag talaga kasi mahihirapan ka in the long run. Tama?
Yeah.
Kasi uulitin mo na naman yung investment mo for you. Alright. Again, we invite everyone who's still with us to post up your questions. So if you have any concerns, let's say on how to save for your wedding budget, or for our supplier friends who are watching us tonight, if you want to know how or have any questions regarding from your end as a supplier kung paano pa kayo makakabalik, or any decisions in mind financially that you would like to ask, just write down your questions at the comment section. So we're still checking them out. So again, while we're waiting, thank you very much, Sir Mike, for agreeing to our pilot episode. First time kong ginawa to. It was such a crazy idea of mine. Actually, ever since I started vlogging, parang nung nag-quarantine, naisip ko nang gawin to. Pero ano lang, kinakabahan lang ako kasi I was seeing such huge names doing their FB lives, like sina Ma'am Ai, sina Miss Jana from Bride and Breakfast, or our amazing friends like the great Eri Niman doing this talks.
Yeah.
Parang medyo, sabi I wanted to do this as well, pero then I realized parang I started asking the questions around to the couple sa parang what happened to your budget? At bilang nagsasagot sila ng wala na, ganito na. So I was really thinking, how can you how can I help them like bounce back from this situation? So that's why we originally came up with this. But hopefully, this is not the only one we're gonna do for our Road to the Big Day on FB Live. Hopefully, by the next few days or weeks, while we are on GCQ in the future, yan, di na ECQ, GCQ na tinitingnan natin, we could still
Yeah.
invite more amazing individuals to discuss on how to help you in the new normal of your big day. Ayan. So, meron pa po ba tayong questions? I think everyone got
Sa watch
the
ko meron eh.
ayun, go.
Sa
Sige,
watch
sige.
party
From your
ko may
watchroom, baka
question. I
sa'yo
think
meron.
sa live comments si Miss Lourdes, nauna si Miss Lourdes Mendoza on
Ayun,
Facebook
yan.
Live. May question siya.
Parang ano, ay,
Yan.
yun. Thank you for
Can't
staging the
imagine.
live stream. Can't imagine how the pictorial would be considering social distancing should be observed. Well, that's another challenge for the video team. So I guess, ano yun, from the side of the suppliers, actually, I did dwell on the how the new normal be. Particularly sa akin as a host, paano ko mamanidan, so paano ko cake and wine toasting. Actually, medyo naisip ko na siya. So hopefully, given the opportunity,
Baka wala na.
maybe I can invite other
Ng
hosts to
manifest.
discuss the new normal pagdating sa program. Hopefully, yun ang next episode natin. So
And
we'll
that's
try
going to
to
be an interesting topic. That's going to be
hmm,
an interesting topic. I feel
yeah,
na you can segment yung mga different suppliers and get their
yeah.
take and maybe be able to answer Miss Lourdes' question.
Oo.
Um,
We'll try to tap in some friends from the photo and video industry kung anong plano nila. Moving forward when we're allowed to do weddings again. Ayan.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah. So
Ayan.
I'll just answer yung question
Sige.
from Miss Beverly Salomon sa
Mhm.
watch party ko. So regarding po sa wedding, sa tingin niyo po, ano yung part ng expense sa wedding na dapat talaga maging priority ng clients? Alin yung di nila i-prioritize based on our experience? That's a good question.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
good.
Wow.
So
That's
dun
hard.
sa, usually may worksheet tayo, di ba,
Oo,
Jonathan?
yeah.
Pero
Actually,
sheet
if
of
you
all
medyo
suppliers.
mahirap 'yun. Kasi let's picture it in the ECQ, GCQ world, no. Siguro hindi naman magtatampo yung mga kaibigan natin sa industriya. Um, I would always say, no, even though as an event host, I want you to invest primarily on your photo and video kasi yun lang ang matitira po sa inyo. Yun lang ang matitira sa inyo. Kasi you won't be able to wear your gown. You could sell it. The flowers will wither. Ako, I will host your day for one day only. And then your makeup will be removed at the night. Syempre yung food, although may uwi for the next few days, that will also be great. Pero key critical talaga is the photo and video kasi that's the only thing you'll have for the rest of your married life. That's one. The next biggest budget kasi talaga is the
Food.
catering service. Food kasi
Yeah.
actually it's a merge of food and the reception venue kasi that's where you're gonna spend a longer amount of time. Although the post ECQ world, I guess our programs would have to be hindi na pwedeng normal na 2 hours or 3 hours eh. It has to be a little shorter. Pero still, you still have to make sure na you eat well and then you
Mhm.
have a nice venue. So, yung sa catering and venue, medyo may konting pahapyaw dyan sa styling eh. So, that's really your call. That's the second layer siguro. The third one that you really need to siguro parang third level na kailangan talagang mag-isip ng mabuti is your core team. Kasi sila yung conductor ng buong lahat. They will manage everything from the morning to your makeup artist all the way to your reception people, which is your musicians, your lights and sounds, your photo and video ulit, your reception venue, your caterer, your host, or your mobile bar kung meron pa man. So yun, yung top na yun ang medyo critical lagi na pagbuhusan nyo ng budget. Huwag nyo silang tipirin kasi yun yung magpapaganda ng wedding nyo. For everyone else, syempre, if you really have the good budget, if you want to go for a beautiful gown, by all means, it's your call. Those are like really decision-based na eh. So what, if let's say for some, they really invested very well on the wedding ring sa sobrang mahal. Iba naman, medyo focus yung after party nila. So talaga medyo halos kapantay na ng photo and video budget yung lights and sounds and DJ. It really
Yeah.
depends on what you want. Who you are as a couple will determine your budget. Pero ako, focus on your photo and video, first and foremost, your reception setup, which is your catering and your venue, kasi matagal kayo magsistay doon, and then your wedding core. Now, for your ceremony kasi, although it's the most important thing, it's the most critical thing, halos standard kasi naman ng bayaran when it comes to your churches, for
Yeah.
our Catholic friends, for our Christian friends naman, normally, ang ginagawa nyo naman is either you do the ceremony and the reception in the same venue. So again, papasok na naman si stylist. For our Muslim brothers and sisters, ganun din. Kasi wala naman nagkakasal sa mosque. Talagang the celebration is
Labas din.
also within that. Civil wedding, yun. Kung magsi-civil wedding kayo sa City Hall, basically that's almost at a zero cost. That's just the officiating minister fees. Pero kung madadala nyo si judge or si mayor, si Orme sa reception venue nyo, yun. Then, if you wanna go for good styling, be my guest. It really depends on you. So, it's more of what you want to happen, and then, ibabangga nyo siya with what's your budget. Kasi definitely, I don't want people to think na, you have to have like X number of thousands of pesos to have a wedding. Kasi pag nagkataon, na namamali ng mindset yung tao, ay, kailangan ganito kalaking ipon ko, so ayoko na. No. I guess, from my personal point of view, we want you to realize na, whatever your budget is, go for it. However, kung ano yung budget nyo, may magkakasya lang dyan na level of suppliers. Pwedeng wala na kayong ganito, wala na kayong ganyan, pero meron kayong ganito. Or pag medyo nilaki nyo, kaya na namin lahat yan. Pag nilaki nyo pa, yun na yung mga malalaking pangalan. Pwede na yan. Yung gano'n. That's for me. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Basically, it depends on what you want to happen. But basically, yung bare essentials that you need to have a lasting experience for your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, yun lang naman, di ba? If you go and think about this is a list of suppliers or this is a list of services that you need for your wedding, alin dito talaga yung must have.
Mm-hmm.
Then you work from there. If you weren't able to invest on learning how to put on your own makeup, kumbaga sablay talaga, they invest in a makeup artist.
Yeah.
Pero you made a good point, and not just because I was part of the photo video industry before. It's really photo and video will be the lasting memories of your wedding. You have to invest on that. Um, pero and then investing on the experience of your guests. Andyan na yung food, andyan na yung
Yeah.
styling. It's up to you now what kind of experience you want to leave for them. So that will
Exactly.
determine how much budget you need to allocate. Again,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about planning, categorizing your expenses for you to have a better view of the entire micro view, categorize mo so you can make a big decision. Big
Mm-hmm.
decision ng wedding.
Yun.
Ang hirap.
And stick to your
We're not
budget.
saying it's we're not saying it's easy to stick to your
Oo.
budget.
Oo.
So
Try
kasi
your best. Try your best to
way,
stick to your budget po.
way back,
Oo.
way back sabi namin, we'll stick to a budget of 500,000 pesos. Ba, umabot kami ng 750,000.
Oh my gosh!
And that was back in 2012.
Uy,
Yeah.
iba na yan, 2012 eh. Pero medyo, ngayon naman, there's the level of vegetarian suppliers and the premium ones that can give you that service. All right. Do we have other questions from your end, sir? Baka meron pa dyan?
Ako sa akin, wala na. Wala
All
na
right.
questions sa watch. Wait. Wala na.
Wala na. Okay. Same thing with mine. So again, thank you very much, Sir Mike, for the opportunity and the time, and everyone else who watched our first Facebook Live. Maraming salamat po. Now, before we end, I have, of course, our final segment, which is our word on the road, which is basically, some word from God that I'd like to share with you for you to remember lang as you plan for your big day. So that's, of course, from Romans 8, verse 28, and that says, And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him and who have been called according to His purpose. That is Romans 8, verse 28. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Sir Mike Togle, for joining us on our first Road to the Big Day on FB Live. Maraming salamat to
Thank
everyone
you
who
for
joined
having
us on this very special day. And of course, to our YouTube viewers, so please make sure to check out the description tab below as well. And then the comment section of so we'll be posting some links for you guys to follow for this special offer, courtesy of Sir Mike. So again, thank you very much. Relax to our newlywed couples, soon to wed couples rather. Just relax, have fun, and enjoy your road to the big day. Maraming salamat po. Sir Mike, thank you very much again.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Be blessed.